focus entirely is to win every test match. I think we've set ourselves a goal coming on the end of the year tour to make sure that we get momentum into next year. And we took it game by game. Our focus was entirely on Wales when we played them, and then on Scotland. And because it's a test match, we have exactly the same approach going into this test match against England, and that is to focus and being the best we can be. And that is the way we approach this week.
Yeah, similar to what Coach Deon said, is we take it game by game. In World Cup finals in the past, so this is a new test, new what do you call it? New challenge that's ahead. So we're really looking forward to. We look forward to a great week of preparation. We know that England's got a lot of threats and great players in the team, so we're just going to take it day by day, building up into the weekend, and hopefully produce a great test match.
Nathan?
Zina, can I ask the coach 2 questions, please, if that's fine?
You may, Nathan.
Thank you. Coach, the mandatory Monday question, any injury updates from the last week?
Nathan, we're lucky that all the players are available. We will have a training session this afternoon, and everyone that are available will be on the field.
Touching on Jan's question about the approach, Coach, I've been fortunate enough to be coached by you and understand that you pay quite a lot of attention to the small detail line-out time. We saw a different approach by the overall team on attack in the first half, leading up to the game. What was it discussed during the week leading up to Saturday's game against Scotland that you'll be using the line-out more early on in the game?
Nathan, I mean, the line-out ball has always been a big part of our game. Obviously, it will be exactly the same going forward. Obviously, different teams brings different challenges every week, and we have to adapt. Yeah, it's been part of our menu, and it will be part of our menu going into this game.
Andrew?
A couple of questions, if I may. First of all, gentlemen, World Rugby have announced their shortlists for the international players, coaches, tries of the year. There's not a single South African player or coach on either the main player of the list or coach of the year. How do you feel, bearing in mind the year you've had, that you have no representation?
I think we respect the process. Obviously, the committee that decides know what they are looking for, and obviously they make their decisions according to that. So congratulations on those players and coaches that have been nominated, and yeah, we wish them good luck.
Coach, obviously it's the final week of what's been a pretty difficult few months if you take it all the way back to the British and Irish Lions tour. How do you avoid the players being distracted by the prospects of getting on the plane and going back to their families? Or do you actually turn that around and use it a way of driving them? You know, you can say, look, it's one more Tuesday session, one more Wednesday session. Which way do you approach it?
As I alluded before, I think every test match that we play is important for us. Obviously, being in the position, being number one in the world and being number one in the world next year is something that I think really drive the players. I think we go out with the mentality in every test match to be the best, to represent our country to the best of our ability. And we will approach this game exactly the same. We've discussed it before. I think as you know, we come through a very tough year through the COVID challenges, and I think this week is just part of those challenges that we will have to overcome and adapt to. But playing for our country, playing a test match against any country in the world on any given day is important for us. So yeah, I think the players are motivated enough to do their best.
And Stephen, can I just ask you, obviously South Africa have a record against England where you've actually won more games than you've lost, and that's true in England as well. Is there something you think that South Africa has an advantage over against England in this country?
Andrew, that's your last question. We need to allow other members of the media questions as well. You can answer, Deon.
I think England is a quality side. I think it is a good coach. They're making some good plans. They've got some exciting players coming in. For us, it's just going into this game, building on the lessons we've learned from the previous games against Wales and Scotland, and using that unity and focus in order to focus on our new task. We understand it's going to be tough, as any test match against England are at Twickenham. So for us, just knowing that we need to be entirely focused and task orientated is important.
Yeah, Andrew, I think just to latch on to Coach Deon, it's we always know England's it's a tough physical game. They can play with ball and they've got a good kicking game. We've got great set piece. For us, it's all about taking it, going through our processes in the week, making sure we tick all the right boxes and being as mentally prepared as possible, going to a big physical test match. So for us, we don't really look at the past results. We only focus purely on the game at hand on the weekend.
John?
A question for Deon. It's 2 years, obviously, since the World Cup final, Deon, but looking forward to this game of the weekend against England. Are you confident that the areas in which South Africa held the upper hand against England in 2019, you guys can still have that upper hand now, 2 years on? I'm thinking particularly perhaps about scrum time and physical collisions.
No, obviously, I mean, if we look back at our last game, playing against Scotland, playing against Wales, we put a big emphasis on the systems and our processes in the different departments of the game. As I said before, we know that England is going to be a tough challenge, bringing their unique challenges in different aspects of the game. So for us, we're entirely focused in terms of how we need to prepare for that and where we need to improve going forward. So yeah, we're confident that with the players that we have and the experience that we have in the team and the process or the improvements that we've made over the couple of test matches, that we can take that momentum into this test match.
Thanks. Could I just quickly ask the same question of Steven, please? I mean, did you think, Steven, are you an even stronger scrummaging team now than you were in 2019?
Yeah, just talking about scrums and set piece in general, we work every week on improving our plans and our systems, and it's a daily work on for us as a front row unit, as a back five unit. So we do our video analysis during the week. We do our homework, and we know the exact challenges that every team brings. So for us, it's keep on building momentum and actually just try and improve as much as we can, because there's always an area in the scrummaging that you can improve and work on. So for us, it's going through those processes, making sure we work hard in the week when we do our live scrummaging, so we can be as prepared as possible for whatever England will throw at us.
Heinz?
Thank you, Zina. Just a question for each, please. Hi, gents. Hope you're well. Deon, just for you, a lot of times, at this stage of the year, there are questions now about fatigue and how players are feeling and that type of thing. And I just wanted to ask, how inspiring was it as a forwards coach to see how almost what switched on that forward pack was, at Murrayfield at this late stage of the season? It felt like they were absolutely at the peak almost of their conditioning and their intent. And then for Steven, just how fun is it to play in this setup where plans just come so well together, particularly with the front row plan now, like Ox and the guys doing an amazing job, softening up, and then you guys come on and just sort of like tighten the noose. Just how fun is it playing in that type of dynamic? Thanks.
Obviously, we have to complement our conditioning team together with the management team in terms of how they've planned the preparation of the team for such a tough tour throughout the season, and obviously coming into this end of the year tour. And then also the players, for the professionalism in terms of how they react towards the demands of what is needed during the week in order to be the best, or to be to the best of their ability coming game day. Yeah, and it was obviously you could see that coming through in Saturday's game. The focus of the players, the determination and the attitude, and the energy that they brought to the game. And yeah, hopefully we can see this again this coming weekend.
And just on the second question, no, it's unbelievable. A lot of credit to Ox, Bongi and Trevor. I think they go out a lot of prep in the week, and we work as two front rows. We work hard going for each other in a week's training. But they lay a great foundation. They bring a lot of intensity in that first half. They go flat out every scrum, like it's do or die. Every scrum is a massive battle. So for us to come on, for us it's just important to stay on par with them and even just try and lift the intensity a little bit if we can. So it's a big role that we need to fulfill, but we're more than happy to take it full on and just go with it.
Daniel?
Hi guys, just a question for each. Thanks, Zina, if that's okay. Steven, I'll start with you. In the Chasing the Sun documentary, you kind of expressed how you're competitive athletes and, you know, the competition for the front row is so big. I wonder, if you had the choice, would you prefer to start, or is it actually a point of pride now being a member of the bomb squad?
No, it's being part of the bomb squad. There's a lot of pride, and but it's the team's plan, and we're willing just to execute whatever is best for the team, because the team, the Springbok team, comes first. But being part of the bomb squad is always fun, and me and Malcolm and Vince are probably through the best friends in the team. So we know our role, we know what we need to do. Everything is planned out during the week exactly, so we understand our job and our responsibility. So we give it everything we can for 40 to 35 minutes.
So you don't have a preference?
No, I don't have a preference.
And okay, no worries, Deon. And just quickly with you, staying on the bomb squad theme, do you prepare the players differently? I mean, either psychologically or physically. Is there a slight change in the nuance of your coaching?
No, I think it's important that there's absolutely transparency and clarity in terms of our plan, and that is well communicated to them. The players clearly understand what we want from them, whether they start or whether they come from the bench. They understand their role. Obviously, we as a coaching team also look at specific things in terms of that plan, and we make our decisions according to that in terms of when to make changes. And the players have a big buy-in into that, and when one front row comes off and the other one goes on, they specifically understand that they have what their task is, what we want to achieve for them, and the other players, obviously, when they start, they understand also in terms of what we expect of them. So yeah, there's clear transparency and clarity around that, and there's good buy-in into that.
So there's no difference in the way, in like the physicality of the way that you train them?
No, there's in a training session. There's always, depending on what days, there's always good competition. Obviously, we challenge the players in different ways, and yeah, they react towards that, and we then decide what is the best for the team going into a specific game.
Thank you.
Nathan, is that a fresh hand?
Yes, please, Zina.
You can go, Nathan.
Thank you. This one's for Kitsy. Kitsy, England will bring a different challenge this week. You've played England quite a fair amount of times. Any strengths and weaknesses you get from England, especially them having footy, or let me say Matt Proudfoot to be exact, a guy who you worked with at Western Province Rugby?
Yeah, I think some key strengths that they do bring is, and we've discussed it this morning. They do have a very good contesting system. They do get in the air when we need to try and get our own ball at line out, or the way they defend mauls is very strong. They've got a good pack of forwards. Scrum time, faced Carl Sinclair at the Lions. I haven't played against him for quite a while, but I got him against the Lions. He was pretty solid and scrum very well for them there. And then, yeah, they put off the rugby I watched of them from the Australia Test match. They do have a nice attacking brand that they play, and they do look good with ball in hand. So we know the challenges, we know some of their weaknesses, and it's our job this week to prepare for both those scenarios that we can execute and implement our game plan onto them.